Hello, I am Saki Ito Judge. I'm a solution architect of startup in Japan. Miku-san, こんにちは。
こんにちは。
It's great honor to have you here with us today. Before we start, I'd like to tell our audience today how excited I am to be speaking with you. Since you are the winner of the Woman of the Year 2019, and you drive Cinnamon AI to the status of one of the most successful startups in AI field in Asia. Now, could you introduce Cinnamon AI and your story as the founder?
Sure. Saki-san, thank you so much for having me here. I am Miku, the founder and CEO of Cinnamon AI. Cinnamon AI accelerates digital transformation by using AI. The reason I founded Cinnamon AI is because of my kids. I have two kids, a 3-year-old boy and a 2-year-old girl. When I had kids, I started to think what their futures would be like, what the next generation's working life would be like. The current working style is too much. Japanese are famous for working long hours. It is very inefficient. Before COVID-19, you couldn't leave work to go back home before your boss left the office. I don't want my kids to work like this. At the same time, Japan has a labor shortage problem. It's a big problem. There will be 10 million workers less than we need in 2030. Unless we build AI to support our work, Japan cannot keep the current business situation. The power of AI is huge. That is the reason I started Cinnamon AI.
Great. On the world of machine learning and artificial intelligence, what would you say is most commonly misunderstood, and how Cinnamon AI and yourself attempted to change the perception?
Many people think AI is just for cost savings, but actually it is not. If you use AI as growing strategy, you'll have big potential. Let me give you one example. One of our clients is an animation production. And in animation production, there are two big tasks. One is drawing a character and then coloring. And if you want to make 30-minute animation, actually you need to make 5,000 cell pictures. And each of them, you need to draw a character and then color of them. It is really tough. And we made AI coloring for them. But if you use this just as a cost saving, and if you have 50 animators, you can just replace 25 people of them. That is small. But if you use AI as growing strategy, it will be totally different. And if you have this coloring AI, you can get it back. You can get all of them. Because AI can be much cheaper than human and also a lot faster than human. You can have the cheapest service in that industry and the fastest service. You can be dominant of this industry. And by my calculation, you'll have $50 or $70 million as a profit. This is totally different from just 25 people cost reduction. I'd like to know everyone that there is a big potential to use AI as growing strategy. Let me give you another example. One American online insurance company used AI as a growing strategy. They made AI chatbot for users, and users can join an insurance just for 90 seconds. And if you have an accident, unfortunately, you can get cash back within a couple of minutes. This is a great user experience. if you use AI just cost saving, this wouldn't happen. I believe you understand how big potential you have with AI as growing strategy.
I see. AWS aim to enable customers and partners around the world like yourself to make technology truly inclusive, accessible, and flexible to all. Can you tell us how you are making AI more accessible and inclusive to the customers and end users?
I believe technology will be democratized in the future. For example, lawyers are very expensive. Not only companies and rich individuals use lawyers. But if the operation for lawyers become 10 times more efficient through AI, the cost of using a lawyer will be 10 times cheaper. Then you might even use a lawyer to review something like, for example, I guess you use social media, and you might have a fear when a social media updates their term. And now it is impossible for you to use a lawyer just for review a social media term. But using AI, it can be much cheaper. If it is only $1, you might use it. This is AI democratization. It is a big benefit not only for experts, but also users. 150 years ago, cars were invented. Only rich people could have a car. But 100 years ago, Henry Ford democratized cars. And now everyone can have a car. I believe the same thing would happen to AI. As an expert, I try to share this vision of AI. I give lots of speeches, I get lots of interviews, and now I'm trying to write a book. Especially, most of the people have a fear to AI. I like to change this perception.
What kind of influence can AI have on work-life harmony?
Now, many people are working 8 hours every day. That is quite common. But I believe it will be only 4 hours in the future because of AI. Humans can be a lot more efficient using AI, and the rest 4 hours will be spent for spending time with family or enjoying your hobby. For example, many people might think AI plus basic income, and most of people wouldn't work at all. But I don't think this is a great future, because human is a social animal. So human become happy when you are appreciated by others. So it is better for you to feel happy to work and contribute on something.
That's great. Cinnamon AI is now a global company. What's on your to-do list for communities around the world, such as talented engineers in Vietnam, and also any wish list for Asia, the hub from which you started all?
The great point of our company is that we have 100 AI researchers. Actually, this is really great because there are only 400 AI researchers all over Japan. It is very difficult to hire AI researchers because half of them are in academia and the other half are in commercial industries, including big companies like Toyota and Sony. So for a startup, it is very difficult to hire AI researchers. To solve this problem, we have AI labs in Vietnam and Taiwan. And actually, you cannot reach high accuracy just by combining AI libraries. I believe we need AI researchers to make AI, making algorithms from scratch. That is the reason that we have a training program in Vietnam and Taiwan to find math geniuses, to measuring computer science, and we train them to be elite AI researchers. So of course, in the future, we would like to expand this training program not only in Vietnam and Taiwan, also to other countries.
That's cool. Well, in a different subject, this year was especially unusual for everyone. Using AI, do you have any vision to mitigate this situation and further ultimately contribute to the human progress?
Because of this situation, training is very difficult. People who have only joined before this COVID-19, they know each other and they know how to work. But it is difficult for newly joined people. Actually, I think it might be even more easier and more efficient. So for example, it becomes more common to record a meeting because it is online, because it is digital. Before, new salespeople need to visit their clients, and it took time, of course. But now all the meetings are digital. Newly joined salespeople can just watch the recorded sales meetings. Actually, it might be possible for them to grow quicker. Not only watching the recorded videos, actually AI can recommend what videos you should watch. Currently, it is a transition period, but even training can be better in the future. That future is waiting for you.
That's great. Well, the audience we have today are passionate about the topic of inclusion, diversity, and equality. What one challenge and one opportunity on this topic that you'd like to share with our fellow founders, entrepreneurs, startups?
To accelerate everybody's understanding that AI and human will work together, we give training program. Recently, we released a workshop with IDEO. Also, it is very important to collaborate with emerging countries like Vietnam and Taiwan. To understand them, we do lots of one-on-one meetings with them, the monthly all-hands meeting, and real-time communication using Slack and Zoom. So each of them is small, but commitment from the top management is important.
Thank you so much, Miku-san, for your time today. We'd love to keep building this space together with your support. And to our audience as well, thank you for tuning in, and please continue to stay safe.
Thank you so much, Saki-san.
Thank you, Miku-san.